what I wanted to do in here was create a system, because I've been in it my whole life, is a system that scared me. Like, if I want it to hurt me, that it could. And people are like, oh, that sounds kind of silly. In this room, we got 14 18s that see 3,000 watts. So you got 3,000 watts times 14, feeding the subs. Each one of these seats has a butt kicker LFE bolted to it. And then I have another 6,000 watt amp by speaker power that powers 1,500 watts into each butt kicker. I finally got there, you know, like when we were listening to those and you were like, oh my God, dude, that is crazy. And that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be a scary experience. So a question I get a lot is, why?
Hey guys, we are in Chicagoland here at Scott Newby's home. Scott, I've been invited to your home twice prior to this day. We're going to be here over the weekend. In this video, we're going to be talking about your home theater. You've had an incredible journey, and your room is quite different, really, than any other home theater that I've experienced and even shared with you guys on my channel. So I'd love to talk about your home theater, kind of that journey. And let's start off, first of all, with your room. What size room are we in?
This is a 14 by 16 foot room, just under 8 foot ceiling. And it's just an old dirty basement when we moved in here. We used to live right down the street, and she found a house. She goes, dude, you can have your own space downstairs. You can get all the crap out of our living room, which is funny for the next video we're going to do, how that living room ended up. So we came down to take a look at it. We split the basement in half, and this is what we have.
One thing that you guys are going to see, and I want you to capture with all of my home theater tours, is every one that we do, I want you to find some things that you can implement into your home. Sometimes you'll look at this size room and go, man, I have a room that size in my house. I didn't realize I could make a home theater with this. And so I love the fact that a lot of this is super, super affordable. Of course, you got some big toys that we're going to talk about that bring the price on up, but that, again, was part of your journey. And there were some goals that you wanted to achieve here. And the first two times I came, you were in the middle of that journey, and we kind of even surprised you. You didn't have much notice, right?
Yeah, the first time I was at work in Chicago, and you guys hit me up like, can we swing by in like an hour? I was like, yeah, let me head home. I think when I met you guys here, I was like in my work clothes and stuff, and we just kind of did like a quick, rough video. I mean, it turned out okay. And then when you made your other trip here, I was super excited because I had gear. I was waiting on the Anthem processor. I had an order coming from GTR, and I like, dude, that video is going to rock. And then I ended up having to have spine surgery, so I put all that stuff on hold. We still did the video, and that's the one where I was in the neck brace. And
so he was kind of uptight in that video.
Yeah, so you see me now? I'm good.
He's doing good.
Yeah. So it was fun to have you here, but just in the back of my mind, I was like, man, this wasn't the presentation I wanted to give. And we had a great time. It was a good time. But the room more now is where I want it to be. So when we were chatting about the other setup that we're going to be talking about, I was like, let me just finish the theater the way I want it to be, and then you can check it out both. And I'm planning a big event, and, you know, a lot of your subscribers are going to be there. So, you know, you can knock out a lot of birds with one stone, do it in one trip. And I mean, how much fun we've been having.
Yeah, it's been a blast. We've just been here 2 days. So we've got about 50 of your friends and people online that you've invited to come over, and throughout the day, they're going to be coming in, experiencing your home theater. You've got a killer 2-channel setup that we'll be doing a separate video on, and even getting your wife involved. We're cranking some heavy bass tracks yesterday. The room's going nuts. The sidewall's going nuts. Your wall is literally flexing.
Yeah, the windows were just,
Yeah, you even got some floor damage here. So it definitely has that capability.
Yeah.
But these bring so much more than just output and slam. Describe that.
It's like literally somebody is singing in both sides of your ears. Like, just, it surrounds you. It, you know, it can take it all over, or it just brings you to like it's like a personal concert.
But no matter what we're doing, if we're cooking dinner or cleaning house or doing laundry, I mean, this system's just on in the background. And it's funny, like, if people come over, they'll just kind of stop and take a double take, be like, dude, they look like rock concert speakers. Like, why do they sound so good? Like, do you think they're just made to be loud? And And if we get lucky and the kids go to sleep early or they're not here, dude, we'll park it on the couch. It'll be 9, 10 o'clock at night, and we'll just run through a Dave Matthews album, Metallica album, just chill out, get lost in the music.
Have a glass of wine, just kind of sit back and just chill, right?
Yeah, well, not too much wine for her. Then I got to buy more stuff.
Because she loves that system. And so let's just talk about kind of, again, the room. So let's look at up front, what size screen are you running?
That's a 132-inch screen, and it's made by me. It's I pretty much just put the projector on its axis screen, marked it out, paint. I talked to JVC. I was like, what kind of paint you recommend? They're like, go with this certain white. I just painted it, put a black border around it, and there it is. And that solved a lot of problems because of like a screen falling off the wall or not being able to maximize the picture. I got to make it exactly as big as I wanted to. And with my head roughly about 10.5 feet away from the screen, I think it's got a pretty good viewing angle on it. So.
Absolutely, man. It's a great image. And so we've got even an older projector, right? What are you rocking back here?
That's the JVC 590. Been calibrated. I just put a new bulb in it probably about a year ago. It's got maybe about 3,000 hours on the whole projector total. This bulb's maybe got 500 hours on it. But people don't believe me, but there is a budget. You know, there's a budget. And to me, for what I was wanting to do at the space, the projector still threw a beautiful picture, and I was like, do I want to spend $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 on a new projector now when I might notice some difference, but not? I didn't feel like I was missing out on a lot. Of course, the new laser projectors look amazing, and if especially I was in a brighter room or doing a bigger screen or something, that would make a lot more sense. I'm like, let me finish what I wanted to do.
Right.
And then I could
primary goal.
Yeah.
Then you can start working on some other goals.
Exactly. So the projector, yeah, it's about 5 years old, and it's been rocking out. And we've watched a couple hours of demo clips, dude, and everybody's still like, hey man, it looks fantastic. So
absolutely. So speaker wise, we've got quite the unique setup here. We've got mostly JTR system.
Yeah.
So walk through like what is the speaker configuration, how many speakers, Atmos, and so forth, and what are those?
Well, right now we're running 7 bed layer speakers, and the JTR 228s for the left, center, and right, and JTR 228s on the side surrounds.
So you've got identical for
the 5, for the main 5, and then the back 2 surrounds are the Klipsch THX Ultra, because I used to have the full Klipsch THX Ultra, and I sold it all off, but kept the surrounds. The in-ceiling are the Klipsch Pro 8-inch. Not as important to me, but something that'll be changed down the road. I'll probably do the RTJ in-ceilings, just because I have such a short height that if I do the standard, like the Atmos you just did,
right? Yeah.
They come so far off the ceiling, okay. So
sure.
That would be ideal, but I just don't have the space for
you
it.
don't have a really high ceiling.
Yeah, so yeah, we're like 7 foot 10 inches. So if I can do the RTJ in ceilings, it doesn't make it even shorter. So, but no, I still get great Atmos effects, because the good thing about the small room is I got the Atmos here, I got the surrounds here. That what's funny is because everybody's like, oh, you got so much bass, you can never hear what's going on. Well, the bass gets churned down, and it gets blended in, and I just throw a bunch of 6, 7, 8, 10 hertz up so you can experience that. But everything is blended in nice.
Yeah.
And so you still hear everything. You're not just sitting down here listening to the bass, and that's exactly what I wanted. And so for the subs,
here's where it gets a little crazy, all right?
And this is maybe the craziest part about the room, because I was telling Michael, some people are like, oh, yeah, if you're a millionaire or whatever, that's cool, you can do whatever. But that isn't the case. There's a budget. This has been I've been in, thanks to my father, I've been in a home theater and stereos my whole life. Like, my first memories are with my dad, like walking through pawn shops, and I remember my dad having like Chiron Vega 15 stacked floor to ceiling, and I was just a little guy. I was like, man, that is so cool. Like, you're looking up to all that stuff. So what I wanted to do in here was create a system, because I've been in it my whole life, is a system that scared me. So, and we'll talk about the journey of all the subs and how I got to this. But when I approached Jeff from JTR, I said, I've been going through a lot of subs, man. I heard your stuff and I liked it, but I want to get something that scares me. And I finally got there. like when we were listening to those and you were like, oh my God, dude, that is crazy. And that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be a scary experience. So, I mean, we ended up with 7 of the Captivator. They started out as 4,000 ULFs. When you order them, you can order them with the more powerful lamp. So they're all been changed to the 6,000. Okay. So in this room, we got 14 18s that see 3,000 watts. So you got 3,000 watts times 14,
right?
Feeding the subs. Yeah. And then I bolted, each one of these seats has a butt kicker LFE bolted to it. And then I have another 6,000 watt amp by speaker power that powers 1,500 watts into each butt kicker.
Right.
The biggest feat on that, obviously, other than paying for everything and moving all these huge subs down the stairs, is running 8 separate 220 volt feeds into this room to power all that stuff. So a question I get a lot is, why?
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, why is because I have a little crazier side that I want to experience something that is ridiculous that I haven't experienced anywhere else. I've visited, rooms that make my room look like a little toy. Like, they paid as much for their projectors I have on everything in this room.
Correct.
And I like that, and I can appreciate that. Hey, dude, that's what you get into. I love that.
Yeah.
And I've been to, 30, 40 home theaters, and I've been in this forever. And I just was like, I want something that like, if I want it to hurt me, that it could. And people are like, oh, that sounds kind of silly. But I've had people come down. I've had 300 people come. Now, tomorrow, we got another 50 to 60 coming people. Now, half of them, or maybe 40% have already been here. Okay. So then we'll be up to like 350 people, say.
Right.
340 people that have been here. And they're like, dude, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Or I don't understand. And then when they experience it, they're like, I can appreciate that, dude. That was an experience that I've never, like, I couldn't do that in my house. My wife would kill me or whatever, but I get it now. Right. It ain't just you're sitting down there listening to a bass and your head's all bobbling around. It's that when you get into that deep bass and you need so much of it to feel it or to even hear like 10, 12 hertz, which you can't really hear, but you can feel.
Sure.
And I never experienced that anywhere. So when I started this home theater journey, when I actually had a decent system, that was 10 years ago, because I had a bunch of pieced together systems before that, as I went to an audio shop in Chicago, and they had on the Klipsch THX Ultra 2s. And I was just drooling all over that, man. Actually, the power amps I use in the system, the Rotels, that's what they were powering that system with. I was like, dude, and they had an Integra preamp. I was like, dude, I want this whole setup, and I just got to figure out how to pay for it.
Right.
So it took like a year, and I pieced all that together, and I used it for 10 years. And I was always blown away. I thought the THX Ultra sounded great, but I had one issue, is there was never enough bass, and also if you wanted to go at reference or over reference, I would always blow a tweeter. So I was always ordering tweeters from, actually when I sold them to a buddy of mine that drove from Ohio to come and get them. I sold them to him and I gave him like 3 or 4 brand new tweeters. Like, dude, why do you have all these extra tweeters? I was like, well, because they were discontinuing them.
Right.
And I didn't know they were going to come out with another model that looked just like them, but with a different product name. I was like, so I bought a bunch because I haven't found something that sounded better than these. So I was like, well, I'm tired of this bass. It ain't good enough for me. So then SVS, PB13, I was like, oh man, the bass wasn't loud enough, but we were certainly getting deeper.
Okay.
I was like, I feel different. Well, because Atmos was getting more popular. Sure. We were getting out of Dolby to digital and stuff like that. Because it's funny, I remember I was a little guy and my old man, Dolby Pro Logic. Yep. He's like, come on, boy, we're gonna go, and I was like, Dolby Pro Logic, dude, you can hear the surrounds coming from the back, and it was a very basic to the setup we were at now, and so it's funny. I just coming back through that journey anyway. So I ended up with SVS, but as we got to Atmos, there was more deep bass. So I was like, dude, I want to rock some more bass. So we did the PB13, and it was cool. I was like, man, I need something more. So PB16s came out.
Right.
And the marketing on it, I was like, dude, man, the huge voice coils and like 5,000 peak
much
power.
Cabin.
Oh, yeah, just everything. And like you custom port tuning. And I was like, dude, I called an order. And when I called an order I bought them from Best Buy. And he's like, dude, we don't even have those in the computer. What are they? And he's like, I got to call my rep. And he's like, oh, yeah, I guess they're just coming out. He goes, you want to order them like before you even hear them? I was like, dude, just put me down. I want to be one of the first guys to get them. And they're huge. And we brought them in, and dude, they were rocking our living room. I was on a suspended floor in our old house, and dude, they were rocking. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So then we moved into this house, and I got to do my theater room in the basement. And once I got on the concrete floor,
that changed.
I lost a lot of the sensation that I liked from them. So I was like, man, so now I'm very underwhelmed.
Right.
And I'm like, and I wasn't even coming down here. And she's like, dude, what are you doing? You got your whole room? I was like, yeah, but I had a better experience in the living room.
Yeah.
So then I bought like 4 PB2000s and stacked them all behind the seats. And I got like 6, never rocked that. And then I did a PB3000. And I got like 7 or 8 SVS subs down here. And I'm like, and I had a buddy of mine that came over. And he's like, dude, that sounds good. He goes, you need to come over to my room.
Mm-hmm.
As he goes, I'm not saying my sub's better than
Right.
you. Just need to come, just come over. Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
So I went over to his room, and he put on a movie. He goes, I'm not even going to tell you what I got. Just let me know what you think. I'm like, dude, man, we're rocking, man. We're rocking. Yeah. And he goes, I got, he had 6 18s from Power Sound Audio, 2 dual 18s and 2 single 18s. I'm like, dude, I've been in this hobby forever. I've never even heard of Power Sound Audio. He goes, oh, yeah, they're kind of new. So when I left, I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Right.
We went on vacation to Mexico like 2 or 3 weeks later. I'm down there, and we got an ocean view suite. She's like, oh, my God, honey, it's so beautiful. And I'm on my phone. She goes, dude, what are you doing? She goes, what are you looking at? I got a subwoofer on my phone. She's like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, dude, I'm going to order one.
Right.
I was like, I'm just going to order it, get off my mind, let's go out to the pool. And I was like, I just got to check it out. So then, to fast forward through the story, I ended up with like 6 or 7 Power Sound Audio dual 18s in this room.
Right.
And dude, and it was rocking. I was happy as can be. And I was like, now that's what's up.
Yeah.
And I ended up going, me and my dad went to Expona. I called him up. I said, hey, they're throwing a big electronics show in Chicago. Let's go check it out. So we're walking around, and I wasn't too impressed with like all the little rooms, because $50,000 turntables and stuff. That's
uber expensive.
Yeah, that's
stuff.
it's not my style exactly. So we're just kind of walking around, and we just kept hearing like this like deep bass tone, and my dad gets in the bass too, and like, man, wherever that's coming from, we need to find out where that's coming from. So we're walking around, just follow however it gets louder. And then we stumbled into the JTR room, and at that time he had 8 of his 2400s lined up, so 8 18s, but the rooms are massive.
Right, big rooms, yeah.
And this was before I even met Jeff or any of those guys, and I'm like, dude, like you could feel it on your chest. I was like, wow, like they were watching like John Wick, like gunshot scenes, and there's 40 people sitting in this room. And so when the demos were over, I asked Jeff from JTR, I'm like, dude, what the heck? I got 12 18s in my room.
Right.
I'm not saying that what you're doing in here is louder. You're in a lot bigger space.
Sure.
But I'm feeling like a weird kind of bass that I'm not used to. And he's like, oh, well, we're not even cranking it up because we got to be respectful of the other vendors.
Right.
Like, come back at night, dude. That's when we have
That's
fun.
when the party starts.
And I was like, so me and my dad left Expona, and it was kind of a quiet ride. I said, dude, I got to buy all that stuff now, right? He goes, I knew that's what you were going to say. And so I came home and I told her, I said, dude, I got to change the room up again. Because that low bass, because I was already happy with how loud that it was.
Right.
Yeah, the output was fine.
Yeah.
And I was getting much more low bass than I was off the SVS. And the SVS was giving me a lot more low bass than the Clips was. So, I was making my way up. But you see, what's silly is you don't know what you're missing until you experience it.
Yeah.
So that's the bad thing of like going to somebody's house that has a real nice projector. Because then I come home, I'm like, that looks good. That dude's look great. But whatever, to each their own. So I called Jeff up, and they had one style box. And I was like, dude, in my room, that's a terrible style. He goes, well, I got a new configuration coming out. It's going to be dropping soon. I was like, well, what's the dimensions? What's it going to look like? So he kind of shared some. Like, dude, I'm in.
Yeah, this will work.
I'll send a deposit. It was a sofa table.
Okay,
I got the very first sofa table that he made, and it went right behind my 2 main seats.
Right.
I sold a couple PSA that funded that, put it in here. I said, well, I'm not going to go that whole route because what if I don't like how it interacts with my room?
Sure.
So I'm big into like calibrating and measuring. And shout out to Stephen Smith for like walking me through that, because you guys all got lucky with his tutorial videos. That dude helped me on the phone till like 3 a.m. multiple nights. Yeah. So
He's a great dude.
Dude, stuff. Man, awesome guy for the hobby. Awesome guy. So anyway, the SVS in this room rolled off at like 17. Then when I got the PSA, it was rolling off around like 14. Mm-hmm. So all I did was as I did a sweep of the room with the PSA. Great results. And I just added the JTR. And at like the mid frequencies, it added like a dB or two. It's near field.
Pretty similar.
So, but at like 15, 14 hertz, instead of starting to work its way down, well, no, it actually started really going up. Oh, wow. And at like 10 hertz, I gained like 15 dB.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, dude, there's something wrong with this microphone, or there's something going on. And so I reached out to Jeff. I was like, oh, the sub sounds good. I can't get the calibration thing set, though. I was like, something's going funny with my mic, dude. It's showing like at 10 hertz, dude. I'm like 15 dB higher. He's like, oh, yeah, with the port tuning that, and you don't have any. So I was like, so I had a buddy bring a mic over, and it was reading identical to mine. I was like, how did I gain like 12 or 14 dB at 10 hertz? Because I had nothing at 10 hertz, and that's...
Sure.
So I played around with that for like 2 weeks. Then I ended up just shutting off all the PSA, and I stacked them off in the other room, and I just racked one sub in here. And it wasn't uniform based. Some of the other seats weren't as good, and I had some dips and valleys. That's what you get with one sub. But the impact, I was like, dude, that's what's up. So I ordered it. I sold off 2 more subs, which helped fund another sub, and that's why it took me 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
Five. I mean, it was siterally 5 years. I would be the guy to be like, I know you got a 3-month wait, dude. Let me send you a deposit, and then, you know, whenever you're done, that'll give me the 3 months to get the rest of the money together. So that certainly helped me out. And then that's what this room was about to me. Is I want to play whatever I want. Like, dude, right before you filmed this, we were listening at 150 dB.
Yeah, I had my earplugs in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're at 150 dB, and you know, you're over there like,
I'm giggling. Like, it's intense. It really is intense.
And when we were done with that, we're like, oh, just shut that off. We're going to go upstairs. Mm-hmm. I wasn't checking, hey, did I blow a driver? Right, no. Are all my tweeters fine? And that was one thing that I didn't like, because I didn't have a setup that I could do whatever I wanted. Like I was explaining to you, I've always had setups that my equipment was a limiting factor to what I wanted to do.
Right.
Be like, because I used to be the guy, like a lot of other people are. It's like, hey, watch like the intro to Edge of Tomorrow. Don't go too crazy, man. You'll smoke your subs. That's how I was with my Clips THX subs. Yeah. And so many people were, and I was like, I just want something to where I want to be the limiting factor. Be like, okay, man, that's I got my fix. I'm good for a month or two, and yeah, this room was done on a budget, no doubt. You know, these seats, but I bought them off the showroom to get a big discount. Right. They're the displays. They're about 3. I had to buy one new because they only had 3 on display. The acoustics in the room, I mean, the back wall, there's literally 4 or 5 inches of safe and sound that I put up on the wall myself with Walmart curtains, $5 a panel.
Sure.
You know, dude, me and her painted the room. I had the room framed out and drywalled, and I mean, we did everything to keep the cost down. People give me crap. They're like, oh, dude, it must be nice. You got a Sunfire power amp to power your Atmos speakers 200 by 5. I'm like, dude,
how old is that?
That amp is like 12 or 13 years old. But I got it. I went and fixed like somebody's kitchen sink leaks and like ran a new pipe for their sump pump and stuff, dude. I mean, I got the amp for like 3 hours of my time.
Sure.
So it's on a budget. It is, dude. Everybody has a budget,
Absolutely.
But this room, this is a question I get, and we'll experience this during the get together tomorrow, is I want to experience this without 7 subs.
Right.
Can we experience this with 1 sub or 2 subs? Because first of all, I don't have the room, or I don't want to spend the money, or that ain't going to go over with the wife.
Yeah.
But, you know, I could swing a sub or 2.
Sure.
So I'd be like, yeah, dude, let me try out 1 in the front, 1 in the back.
Right.
And the response always, and it's never been anything less, that's plenty
for me.
Dude, that's an awesome time.
Certainly.
So the 7 subs might not be your cup of tea.
Correct.
And I wasn't just sitting down here spending money because I don't have nothing else to spend money on.
Right.
It's like I want to be at a point to where what I like, you might not like, and what you like, I might like. Yeah. And that's the good thing about the hobbies. There's no wrong. Are you having a good time? I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
Then we're all winning, and it don't matter what you have. If you're enjoying yourself, that's to me, and I tell that to everybody that comes over here. And some people don't want to come over to like the big get-togethers, and it confuses me. They're like, "Oh, I don't have a setup like that." I'm like, "Dude, it don't matter."
Right.
Out of the 50 people, there's 50 different setups, dude.
Correct.
Some people got $500 tied up, and they're proud of that, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone and listened to like $3,000 setups that it's set up just right.
Sure.
And it sounds good, and they're like, "Hey, I can't like blow the walls off this place, but dude, I'm enjoying the crap out of this."
Yeah.
And I go over there and listen. I'm like, "Dude, this sounds fabulous." Hey, so it ain't just about the money you spend. It's all in the setup.
Yeah.
There's, you know, you get a lot of questions, and I get quite a few questions too. It's like, you know, "Hey, I'll send you a picture of my room. What do you think?" I'm like, "Dude, you should drop your surrounds down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe move your center channel up. You do a couple things, don't cost you a dime.
Right.
Just set it up correctly, and don't message me back. It's like, oh yeah, dude, like, wow, that was awesome. Thanks." That's what the get-together's about.
Yeah.
You come eat, have a cocktail, have a soda or a pop. What do you guys call it?
We got a Coke. Yeah.
Well, we're going to do that challenge later.
We are. We're actually going to do a Coke versus Pepsi and see if
him
his wife
and
myself can tell it.
They think they're soda champions, but it's all about the experience to me. And I'm excited actually to get this get together done and over with, because I like to go out and experience other people's.
Sure.
Just because I want to experience something different.
Yeah.
Somebody has a new Epson projector, or, you know, we just went to Jonathan's room. He's got all the JBL line arrays, and it's just there's worse, there's better, there's all. It don't matter, dude. Yeah. Like I was telling you earlier, I feel that your setup is an extension of your personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like
100%.
You can go into somebody's room, and you don't even need to meet them, and be like, "I kind of have an idea who this guy is."
Sure.
And that's okay, loud and obnoxious. I can be loud and obnoxious, so that's why I built the setup like that.
Right.
But everybody asks, "Well, how did you end up here?" That's how I ended up here, man.
Well, your journey has just been incredible, and again, I've seen you post photos on Facebook, and you'll share how many subs, and a lot of times people are like, "Oh, that's overkill." That's overkill for you. It's not overkill for Scott. It's not overkill for his family. And like you said, the guests that come in, we just had a gentleman come in earlier.
Yeah.
Doug?
Yeah, Douglas.
So Douglas come in, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, this is insane. This is cool." And again, you're not watching movies at 150 dB. I want you guys to understand that.
Yeah,
This is one of those things. It's like having a Ferrari. You know, when you want to just put the pedal down, you've got all the available horsepower, and it is one heck of an adrenaline rush. But it's still fun to just cruise around at 60, 70, 80 miles an hour and still enjoy the Ferrari. And so you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You don't have to worry about blowing a driver. You don't have to worry about what content or where your volume is, because you know your system is fully capable of that and much more. Like, you've got so much headroom that these things are just coasting. They're just really effortlessly. And, you know, whether it's in your theater room or your upstairs, that's one thing I've noticed, is that these things are just coasting, man. And there's so much impact, so much, you know, we're watching John Wick. Is it the latest one?
Yeah, where he's punching the board, yeah.
Oh my goodness. You know, every time it hits, it's just like intense, powerful, impactful, and it just brings you into the movie more. Like you said, when you're watching Jurassic Park and they're stomping, it's like, oh my goodness, I feel like there's a stinking, you know, dinosaur in your basement right now. And so you've tried to bring that realism, and yes, is it extreme? probably for most people. But this was your goal. This was your journey. And this was your kind of end goal. And I think you're pretty much there. And then, like you said, now you're just looking at other things that, okay, maybe you'll upgrade your projector down the road.
Yeah, or do like the better Atmos speakers, because that's where, to me, the hard work is done. I think too, what a lot of people don't get is there's like, you can only listen to it so loud. Well, of course, but if I'm the deep bass, if you're not worried about 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hertz, and you know, if you're not worried about, let's say, like sub 15 hertz, then you don't need all this. You don't. Sure. You don't. I could have literally did two, like if I was going to match it all and stay with JTR, it'd be like 2 RS1s. You could easily hit reference, hit some nice low notes. But if you want impact down low, and you want it to be like to actually experience a 10 hertz or 12 hertz hit, you need a lot of drivers and power, and that's what raises the rest of the dB up.
Sure.
Because for like every dB I gain at 10 hertz, it's added multiple dB at like 20 and 30, because that's a much easier.
Right.
So that's why I had to add so much, because I just wanted so much more of that. To hear that with no distortion and no strain and clean, instead of a sub just flapping and you can hear it chuffing and like.
And that pulls you out of the movie experience.
It ruins it for me, because I'm like, okay, now I'm back to square one, to where my equipment's the limiting factor of my experience. Yeah. And so, like the low bass isn't for everybody. Like with Catherine, she enjoys the bass. Like we've been to multiple EDM concerts out in Las Vegas or a Metallica concert. She enjoys the bass. Yeah. And even watching a movie down here, she enjoys the bass even at some spirited levels. But if I want to go crazy with the low bass, she's like, dude, it feels like we're swimming in here and my eyes are vibrating. And she's like, I got anxiety. So, for some people, they don't want to experience that. And for me to even say that, people are like, who would want to experience that? But whatever that triggers, and I'm like, this is a surreal kind of like a weird experience.
Like a euphoric kind of.
Yeah, it's just like it triggers. And I think that it all could possibly just do because I've been doing it for so long. And you just look for something new, or you're trying to explore a different avenue, and you go out and experience a whole bunch of stuff at different places and be like, what's something I haven't experienced? And that was something that I never did. So I wanted to build that experience. And the get-together, it's funny because people are scared to have get-togethers, or intimidated to have get-togethers, or the get-togethers, if you've ever been to one, it's not, hey, look at me.
Right.
Look at what I got.
Absolutely.
Tell me how great I am.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. So many home theaters that I've visited, dude, it's just like, hey, man, dude, I'm going to order some food. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's watch some demos. Give me your 2 cents. What do you think? Any constructive criticism? And it's just, dude, half the time, we're sitting around just chatting. We're not even listening to the equipment. Yeah. Of course, that's a fun
Building
part of it too. Yeah, and it's just, and then me and you were down here till like 1 o'clock in the morning talking last night. We ended up talking about our family, and that's
life.
Yeah, it was just the hobby is just the intersection for everybody to meet, and I think that it gets people out and about. And when I got back like from M-Wave, and Kat goes, oh, you've been to a couple of these electronic shows. What did you think? Yeah. And I said, to me, it was like a big get-together. Because everybody's having lunch together and chatting. And, of course, all the rooms were awesome, but people were even staying out of the rooms. And you got groups of like 10 or 12 guys chatting. And I was like, it wasn't like a sales pitch. Because I always feel kind of strange at other ones like, okay, come sit in this little room and listen to our $200,000 setup, and then tell us how amazing it is. And like nobody talks to each other.
Right, yeah, it's pretty isolated. You're by yourself.
Yeah, it is. It's a very, very isolated event. And I like my thing that I do. I got that same feeling on just a larger scale when you guys did M-Wave, and I was like, dude, that's what's up. Yeah. Because I'm sitting there talking to guys like about, oh yeah, my kid's in college. Like, oh yeah, well, our oldest is in college. And then we end up not even talking about the hobby. And you're just like, hey dude, I'm going to hit you up on Facebook if you don't mind. Or hey, shoot me your number if I, if you're ever in town, you know, let me know, and then we'll go out and grab a drink or go grab some lunch.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the fun part.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I'll come over and check out anybody's setup because I
Sure.
just like, hey, dude, how'd you have it set up? And there's so many people out there that, you know, got a nicer room, and that's cool, dude.
Yeah. I can celebrate them all. I can celebrate
Dude.
the budget home theaters. I can celebrate the $1 million Star Wars
I
home
can celebrate the
theaters,
hobby.
everything in
Yeah,
between.
yeah,
But one thing I love that you mentioned, and I love your heart, Scott, because your heart is about the people. You love inviting people over, like you said, not to say, hey, Scott, you're amazing. I love you. Your system's incredible, and to get these pats on the back. But it's really about, I just want you to experience something different. Let's come and hang out. Let's talk about home theater. Let's talk about our family. Let's talk about life. I mean, we're talking to Doug about some personal stuff that he's gone through.
Yeah.
That's what this hobby's about, and I think is what's missing. And so I love what you're bringing to the hobby by doing these get-togethers, probably annually now, kind of an annual event.
Yeah, how would that end up happening? Because I would always have like, I don't know, once every couple months. Well, pretty much it was almost on an every month basis. As I would either go to somebody's house one month, he'd have 2 or 3 guys over. Cool, we'd order a pizza and we'd all hang out. And then one month I'd have 3 or 4 guys over. The next month, so maybe once a month, I was going somewhere, people are coming over here. But what I noticed is I was, say, invited 8 people over. I can only entertain 4 in the theater at a time. Is the other 4 guys are upstairs talking about their kids, about guns, about politics, just about whatever they interest.
Yeah.
And then by the end of that night, the theater's empty, and all 8 guys are upstairs talking about their families and just maybe about new gear or new movies and everybody. And I was like, well, this is fun. This ain't just us sitting down there and doing demos and like, hey, the demo's up, pack up, it's time to leave.
It's more than just the gear. It's more than just the speakers.
So then I moved it up to like 10 or 15 people. And I was like, dude, this is what's up. And then I was like, man, how many people can we fit in a house? So I was like, let's test that theory. 50 to 60 people. Jeff was releasing the RTJ line. He goes, hey, man, I'm going to bring them by and let some of your friends and some of my friends and just hobbyists, you know, come out and check, you know, this new speaker design that I came out with. I was like, dude, that is awesome. So packed the house. People checked out the theater, checked out that. I was like, 3-4 hours, you know. Dude, we started at like 9 in the morning, and the last person left at like 11 o'clock that night.
Yeah, just having fun.
Yeah, but you know, by the end of the night, like the last couple hours, none of the systems are even on. Everybody's just standing around chatting, and it just kind of brought everybody together. And I told her, I said, that's what I want to do every year. Now I'll entertain, like if a guy just hits me up and says, hey, I'm interested in the Anthem processor, or you know, or I want to check out some JTR speakers, or you know, I've always wanted to see a JVC projector in action.
Sure.
Yeah, dude, just give me a date, I can accommodate. And come hang out for an hour. We're cool.
Sure.
But that's more like just a one-on-one because somebody has a very specific.
The big get-together. So
yeah, the big get-together is, yeah, you can check out the systems. We'll both be playing all day. That's cool. Yeah. But now it's even got bigger, you know, because tomorrow when we do the get-together, there's going to be a taco truck pulling out front, making lunch, whatever they want for each other. And we got, you know, people coming all day and a couple special guests in the house.
Staggering throughout the day.
Yeah, I made the mistake of not doing that.
Makes it easier.
Is 50 people want to show up at your house at one time. Yeah, that's very, very hard.
We've got 4 seats here, so where are they going?
And upstairs, you know, it's just hard to make name tags and introduce and entertain. So my whole thing is, dude, show up at 10, get like 10 people, 11, 10, 12, whatever. And I tell everybody, you don't have to leave. Yeah. Because once you've got here and you met a couple people, you know, just roam around and do whatever you like. You don't have to leave. I just need to stagger those. Yeah. It's hard to deal with the inflow of people because, you know, we're not a convention center.
Correct.
So it's just, and it's just a once a year thing now. So this will be our 3rd big get together. And I'll do another one next year, and I'll do another one the year after that. And it just, I bring in new people. I don't care if it's old faces, new faces. It's just like, even if I'd be like, hey, man, I haven't seen you in a year. What's been going on? And literally, these guys, like, with any passion, just pick right up where you left off, dude.
Absolutely.
And I stay in contact because we have multiple Discord groups. And, you know, you guys have your podcast. I mean, we all chime in.
It's like a family.
I mean, up until just a couple of years ago, there was none of that. Well, I guess some of that bled over from the AVS forums because some of us aren't in. I was never big in it. I was always a lurker, checking out stuff, but I was never big into it.
Right.
And now we're all kind of doing our own thing off of like Facebook and stuff like that, and you know, all the younger guys are doing TikToks and stuff like that. But yeah, it's, I don't know, it's just the people come together, you know, and that's not like, it almost, you say that it's like, oh, it's like a sales pitch or something, but it's not, dude. It's even some of the guys I've convinced to have home theater get-togethers that have, you know, just a system they're in love with that's just more of a basic.
Right.
They get like 10 or 12 guys over, and they're
That's
like,
phenomenal.
They're like, dude, I have sat in my theater by myself, which is fine. We all sit in our theater and watch movies by ourselves. That's just part of it. But they're like, I've never enjoyed my space with anybody else because I never thought it was good enough. Or I was like, dude, like literally nobody cares. Like literally, nobody cares. They might give you some crap, like if your surrounds are at the ceiling, or they're pointed in the wrong direction, or your center channel is coming out of a surround speaker or something. But you know, and they're like, hey, dude, I think something might be off here. But
that's going to make it better, though. They're not coming over there to critique your setup, and that's the fear that a lot of people have. If I invite some guys over to my house, they're going to nitpick and pick apart
and it's not like that. If somebody's like, hey, dude, I just think like if you lowered these surrounds a couple feet, or maybe you know, bring your center channel up a little bit. I think, and a lot of guys are like, I did what was suggested to these guys, and like, wow, dude, that didn't cost me nothing. Or they even do it while you're there.
And let's try this.
And they're like, well, I wouldn't even know that because I don't. It's a strange hobby because sometimes people don't want to share because our home theaters are a part of us, and they're like, people might cast a certain shadow on that, but the community's not like that. Dude.
Community's awesome, dude. Man. In general, you guys are amazing. I love what we're doing at M-Wave because that's a big part of it. We're trying to foster that community. We want you to build relationships. We don't want you to come to M-Wave and go room to room to room to room. Here's some awesome demos, and you're by yourself, you listen by yourself, and then you leave by yourself and you experience by yourself. That's not the goal of it.
When you go eat lunch by yourself. Dude, we were ordering lunch for all these people, and like, hey, dude, what do you want? He's like, I don't even know you. I was like, dude, don't matter. We're going to eat. You going to eat with us? And they're like,
that's community. That's what we're trying to do. And so, like I said, I just wanted to really take an opportunity to kind of catch everybody up to what you've been up to in this full journey. I mean, there's only a couple other pieces. Did we miss anything on your rack over here?
I think I upgraded with the blue sound, and then I added a high-res DAC to the blue sound, and we did the Zapiti and stuff. There's been a few changes, but the fundamentals of it have pretty much stayed the same. The Anthem processor, I certainly enjoy. That wasn't in the last video. I was actually waiting for that to be delivered, and Arc did a great job in this room. And no, the fundamentals. Every time you've come over, I've been on the same journey. It's just been in separate stages. I haven't been in competition with nobody.
Absolutely. This is your journey.
If I had the means to all do it at once, it would have got done at once. And it's kind of frustrating when you're going through the journeys because like I know where I want to be, but it's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And to just, you don't have to listen to your setup at its max output to be happy. I literally come in this room, turn the lights on, look at everything, smile, like, see you later, and just close the door. Don't even, it's just, to me, that's part of the feeling. So,
Scott, I love your heart. I love your passion for this. I love your heart for people.
Do you like that annoying background noise that we're getting?
So right up here, Jeff is actually upstairs calibrating. So he's done calibrating. He keeps blowing up our phone saying, hey guys, come up and check this out because I've done some Dirac up here. I think you're going to enjoy it even more. So we're going to do a dedicated video on that 2-channel system. I call it the RTJ Tower of Power. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
That's the coolest toys I've ever bought.
It's phenomenal. And so we'll do a dedicated video on that. I want to get your wife involved in that and share.
Those are hers.
Yeah, literally. I mean,
people are going to be surprised.
You're going to be really surprised that she basically said, look, we've got to get these. Like, I love these. So we'll share that story in another video. So Scott, always a pleasure, man. You've done an incredible job with this. Hope you guys take inspiration from his room. No matter what you have, enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. I've always encouraged you guys to do that. Of course, we'd love to have you come out for M-Wave 2024. We've got the dates on the website.
I'm already booked.
Yeah, you already booked.
Me and her are going to be there. Yep.
So MidwestAVExperience.com. We'd love to have you join us because it truly is all about the community. Hope you guys have an incredible week. God bless, and we'll catch you in the next video. There you go, man.
Hey, man.
It was a one-take wonder.
Yeah.
So nice.
Well, we're semi-professional.